Hi everyone, this is Gina Thorne and I'm with Lakeview Health, and we're really excited today to be joined with Nick Gosselin and Karen Zakor, our alumni coaches for both the STAR and Stepping Stone. Today's open chat is going to be about navigating the holidays and trying to figure out how to really protect your recovery and making sure that you're doing all the right things in your sobriety. And so we're going to just have a conversation, and if at any point you feel like you'd like to call in or chime in, feel free to do so. As you're listening, though, we would like to ask that you put your phones on mute just in case you might end up getting some background noise. So first I'd like to introduce Karen Zakor. Karen is our alumni recovery coach specialist for Stepping Stone, and she's been with us a little over 2.5 years. 3 years, and she works very closely with our alumni at Stepping Stone, does a lot of work with recovery coaching. She's a certified recovery coach and train the trainer, and we're really excited to hear more from her today on what we need to do to really navigate those issues that may come up during the holidays. And then we also have Nick Gosselin, who joined the STAR recently for our men's program. Nick is also our alumni recovery coach specialist for our men's program, and he's been with us almost 6 months? Almost 7 months now. We're really excited to have Nick on board. He has brought a lot to the table in working with our guys, and also spends a lot of time in and outside of our facility doing coaching with our guys, helping them in their early sobriety, helping with resources and that sort of thing. So today we're going to focus a little bit on things like healthy boundaries and accountability. And so the first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about, if you could, is, we just finished Thanksgiving, which is, really a tough time of year for a lot of people, and we're now kind of in the throes of Christmas parties and holiday parties. If you're early in sobriety and you're working a program and you're just coming out of treatment, what are some of the things that we need to be looking at in regards to recovery and early sobriety and making sure that we don't do anything that could potentially cause us to relapse?
So when I first got out of treatment, I realized that going to any sort of party, I needed a plan. I needed a plan before I went there, while I was there, and then after I left. So planning that kind of stuff out would involve, number one, letting people know where I was going to be. So letting my network know, sponsors, sponsees, just friends in recovery, telling people, hey, this is where I'm going to be. Can you make sure you have your phone on you in case I need to call? And then calling those people before I got to the party. If at all possible, I would take someone else that was in recovery with me. I've taken my sponsor before, someone else that maybe has a little bit more time than I do that can just help me stay accountable in those tougher situations if something were to come up. Always have a drink in my hand, a non-alcoholic drink. I'd take a bottle of water, and I'd make sure that I kept it full the whole night. If anything did come up, that plan of action to have someone to call, hey, I just need to step out, grab some air, step outside, call someone, talk to them, let them know what I'm feeling, ask them how their day is going. Get outside of my own head for just a little bit, see what they're going through, if there's anything that I can help them with. It's not just a one-way street. I don't try and just pull from people. I try and give back too. So if someone else is having a tough time, maybe help them stay accountable as well. And then have a set time when I'm going to leave. And if I do need to leave early, make sure I've taken my own ride. Make sure I have that exit strategy. The only thing with not having a set time is you don't know, where your mind will take you. If you don't say, hey, I'm going to leave by 10 o'clock or I'm going to leave by 11 o'clock, you say, oh, whenever the party slows down. Well, I was one of those back in the day, but the party never really did slow down, so I would say I would shut it down. So, that 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour is probably about perfect. Get out on the roads and get home before, the other drug drivers get out there, the guy I used to do. So, just having that set plan of action and then making sure that you call those people that you did tell, hey, I'm going to be at this party from this to this time to this time, and let them know that you did make it home safe. And just check in with them and see how their time went, if they had to go somewhere, what they were up to.
Do you recommend that people who are just out of treatment, like 3 or 4 weeks out of treatment, go to parties where there's going to be alcohol? Or do you suggest that they just kind of wait it out and maybe invest their time in more sober, recovery-based holiday parties versus their old school? What do you think, Karen?
Well, when I was in early recovery, my family was a trigger, and so originally it was difficult for me to even be around my family. So I became, actually the fellowships became my family, and so I spent a lot of time with friends and different people in the fellowships. I did a lot of service work, and I remember one of my first holidays that I actually was Thanksgiving, and I actually said I couldn't make it, and I was going to go and serve at for some refugees, and I served them food, and I got outside of myself, and I was a little, sad while I was there, but I was much happier serving them, and I knew I wasn't really missing much, and I did get my family was very upset with me. They were very upset. However, one of my favorite quotes was, and I wrote it down, you can't have boundaries for yourself and try to protect others' feelings at the same time. And so my recovery had to come first. I couldn't depend on, well, am I going to upset them? Am I going to make them happy? Maybe I should show up for a little while. And so I definitely recommend a lot of service work if you don't feel you can make it to the party, or like me and Nick were discussing last night, even if they're out of town and you want to go home, buy home or something like that, there'll be other holidays that you can go when you're more prepared and you're a little stronger. So sometimes it's not really necessary to appease your family. If you don't think that you're ready, or your sponsor doesn't think you're ready, you should check with them and definitely do what's best for you. Your recovery has to come first.
So just as a reminder to those that are listening today, you're welcome to chime in at any point if you have ideas or suggestions that might be helpful. There's no need to provide us with your name. You can just simply let us know what your thoughts are on what we're talking about today, or if you have specific questions that you may have. Just leaving this open as a chat that people may want to have as they're going into the holiday season. So let's talk a little bit more about healthy boundaries. What are some other things that we should be asking ourselves as we're working through the holidays this year, particularly when we're talking about family, which I think 95% of us will say family is a trigger in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah, so family is definitely a trigger. I remember that I was told to already have my conversation picked out. As far as a script, kind of, and I thought that was nuts. But the topics that I wanted to talk about that were safe, and rather than get trapped in the topics that they wanted to talk about, and to always redirect back to the topic that was safe for me. And so I get it, and it was really helpful. It was helpful to talk about things that I felt comfortable with. I prepared answers for when people would ask, well, why aren't you drinking, or why aren't you using, or, why do you have to leave earlier? Why can't you drive with us and you've brought your own car? So, I had to prepare those ahead of time. And like Nick said, I had a time frame. I said, okay, I'm going to have a beginning and an end. And then different things such as accountability as far as having plans afterward. I always wanted to hit a meeting before and hit a meeting after, or different helpful tools where you can I brought literature with me, so if you have to, you can go to your car, you can sit in the bathroom, you do whatever you have to do in order to change your thinking, because you will get triggered. Family doesn't change, but we have to be the ones to change. And so,
well, one of my questions that I have is for those folks that might be listening who are brand new in sobriety and now they're hitting the holidays for the very first time in sobriety. So, Nick, is it even possible to enjoy the holidays as a newly sober person?
Absolutely. It talks about in many different fellowships. It's your spiritual fitness level that will allow you to do everything that you want to. If you have a reason and a purpose for being somewhere, you can be there. So I'm not saying that in your first couple of weeks of sobriety that you can't go home and you can't be with your family. I'm not saying that by any means. But I'm saying to have your spiritual fitness level checked, not by yourself. I'm the reason I got myself here, so I talked to the other people that were around me, my sponsor, my network, that fellowship of guys that kept me in check. And I'm like, hey, man, what do you think about me going home just for a couple of days? Like, well, if you do this, this, and this, that's not a problem. But if you start falling outside of those lines, I don't think you should. But it's creating that fallback, that safety net. That's something that there's people that I can talk to. And that starts way before the holidays. That starts as soon as you leave treatment, getting those phone numbers. When you get into the meetings, call those guys. The guys that reach out, the people that say something in the meeting that you can relate to, go up to them and ask them for their number. Like this starts way before the day before you're supposed to go to the holiday meeting. You're like running around from meeting to meeting. Hey, I need some phone numbers so I can call before I go and I talk to my dad and my mom about me being an alcoholic or an addict. Like I'm saying we need to set this up. This is pre-planned. This is a chess game. You've got to put your pieces in order to win the match. So when I was first getting sober, I needed that fellowship, and I stuck around my guys. I stuck around my new family. I stuck around those people that knew what I was going through at that time. I spent the holidays in treatment centers before, and that was some of the best fellowshipping and some of the most real conversations I ever had was with someone in treatment during the holidays, because everybody's going through the same kind of emotions as missing family, but realizing that like maybe this is the first time they're actually able to enjoy themselves because they know I'm safe. Like my family knows I'm in a safe place, that I'm doing the right thing. So just getting out of treatment, I really wanted to be a part of that, but I also knew that I had to have that structure, that same structure that I had in treatment, the scheduled timing. That's what I needed to successfully complete the holidays. I'm one of those. My mom, I've had a lot of issues with the holidays. My mom's birthday was right around the holidays. She had passed away during the holidays, like right around that Christmas time. So, I could have been a Grinch about it and not wanted to be a part of anything, but I try to embrace it as much as possible, like listening to Christmas music and just having a good time with people, because that's what she would have wanted. So it's, everybody has stuff that happens through the holidays, bad memories and good memories. I try and stick with the good memories to get through the holiday season.
Almost reinventing a whole new life for yourself and new memories that you can create as a person in recovery, versus thinking about it from the perspective of, if you weren't in recovery today and a year ago, reflecting on a year ago at this time, and you were active in your addiction, how much better was that? How much worse was that? And obviously it wasn't better. So even though it's tough coming into the holidays, knowing that you may not be able to practice those things that you probably are familiar with, there was a lot of chaos and anxiety and stress that was going on during active addiction a year ago that many people today are saying, at least I don't have that. At least I can start looking forward and thinking ahead about how I can create new memories, which is real important. So triggers in regards to the holidays are a big deal, and obviously parties are a part of that, and we talked a little bit about family. What about relationships in general as far as being a trigger? Now we're not talking about just your immediate family, but like relationships with significant others, relationships with coworkers. I mean, how do you work through some of those issues when you're stepping into a time where a lot of people are giving gifts and being really free with their compliments and wanting everybody to be happy, and you're in a really unhealthy relationship with someone? How do you do that?
Well, first off, I would say that take care of yourself first. Be around people as much as you can that are positive, that support you, that bring you up, that build you up. Stay in close contact with them, because they're going to be your support network. And sometimes our minds can get a little crazy. They can veer off, and that's when we get emotional, and then it becomes emotional relapse, mental relapse, and then physical. So before that even happens, I would suggest upping your meetings, getting, like Nick said, in the right spiritual mind frame, so that you don't react to the family members, so you don't react to your friends or the romantic partners that you have, and just really taking care of yourself. If there's always an issue on Christmas or for the holidays, I know it was always a stressful time for us. It always seemed like it should be a happy day, but it was just everybody freaked out, and it's just a lot of anxiety, a lot of expectations. I'd say don't have the expectations. You can't really be let down. Those are setups for resentment, and just really try to discuss personal things at home. A lot of issues get brought up at family gatherings and whatnot, and just kind of stay in your own business, keep everything your own business, and don't get into other people's business. So again, I would stress the importance of really good support and being around people who make you happy.
Well, okay, so I'm going to switch gears for a few minutes and talk about holiday shopping and expectations.
Could I make a quick comment?
Sure.
Yeah, just on something you were talking about earlier, one thing I hear from people is they say, I have to go to this party, or I have to go to this event, or I have to go home for the holidays. There's nothing you have to do other than work the program. I've heard that many times that, no, I have to go to this company party. Well, you don't have to. So talk to your network about that. Another thing I wanted to mention is, if you've been to a venue previously, and I'll use myself as an example, we had a business outing at a Topgolf. If you're not familiar with it, it's driving range, bar, restaurant kind of thing. I've been there before, and there's other times that I elect not to go because of the program. So I don't assume because I've been to a place before that it's safe to go back. I have to check with people, my network, and internally if I'm okay, if I'm in that good place that I can go back there again. So I just wanted to, some of my people in my network say, well, I've been there before and it was okay. Well, it doesn't mean it's okay today or it's okay tomorrow. You have to, I have to check myself before I get into those situations. So I just wanted to throw those two things out there real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. The importance of just knowing where you're at, and then knowing the situations and playing the tape all the way through. If you, like you said, you've been to those places before. I've been to my grandma's house 100 times, but that doesn't mean I need to go back again. If I know who's going to be over there, my crazy Uncle Charlie, I just don't need to be putting myself in that situation.
It feels like you have to do a lot of explaining to people, though. I mean, especially, for those folks that might be new into recovery, does it feel exhausting that you have to find yourself repeating yourself a lot to certain people because they just don't get it? They just don't understand that you've made this big life change. And, how do you continue keeping yourself positive in a scenario where you're constantly having to remind them, no, and maybe it's going back to what you talked about, Karen, which is staying on script and just keep reinforcing that this is just not my life anymore, and I'm doing this instead.
This is what I choose. Yeah, because that has happened. Actually, to this day, it still happens. And 7 years in, and my family still is, well, here's a drink, and Thanksgiving, and it just it's my choice, and I don't have to justify it. And the first few years, it was hard not to, but that's why I had to have kind of a script and subjects I had to stay on. But now I don't even bother trying to justify it. I just say no thanks, and I still get the crazy looks. But I walk away knowing that I'm proud of myself and where I'm at and where I've become, what I've become, and so that's enough. And again, a lot of support. For me, I know that all of this is going to happen. I know that all these triggers and anxiety and issues are going to come up. So like Nick said, I have to up my meetings so I can be more spiritually fit before I go. It's all about preparation for me.
So let's talk about holiday preparation. So I was talking with someone yesterday about, somebody asked me, 2 different people asked me on the same day, have you gotten all your Christmas shopping done? And it wasn't even December 1st yet. And so we all know that the holidays tend to bring a lot of expectation, and it also requires that you're supposed to have money, that you're supposed to buy gifts for people, that some people may come to expect it, especially if you're coming from a scenario where you have a family that has lots of children and you're not supposed to buy gifts for all these people. How do you manage the stress of the holidays, and how do you prevent that stress from being a trigger for you during the holidays? What's your recommendation for someone who is already having that kind of anxiety about all of the things that need to get done during the holidays? They're early in recovery, maybe not even early in recovery, and now all of a sudden they've got to figure out how are they going to manage this ongoing stress. What do you think, Nick?
So I just had a sponsee the other day that I talked to that he was with some family members, and they were out Black Friday shopping. He's about 6 months sober, and he's walking into all these places, and he's got like $20 in his pocket, and he's like, he called me up and he's like, hey, I'm freaking out on the inside because I can't afford any of this stuff. All these people are just spending all this kind of money. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, just be happy that you're able to spend time with them. Just be happy that you're able to be around those people. Don't think about any of the monetary stuff anymore, but take it as that spiritual richness of just being able to spend quality time with family members and remember it. Like, there were so many times where I was that kid that was passed out face first in the mashed potatoes for 4 hours, and then woke up and everybody was gone on Christmas morning. You know, I didn't get to spend that quality time. I get that quality time now. It doesn't cost anything. Just the fact that you're there, that means everything to them. So don't think that you have to buy your way back into your family. They'll accept you for who you are, and the fact that you're just doing the right thing, like I was telling him, the fact that he's doing the right thing, he's going to work, he's paying all his bills, the fact that he's not asking for help from family anymore, it's good enough. Like that's amazing. Like the fact that he doesn't have to have them pay his rent or pay his partner or whatever. The fact that he's self-sufficient. Next year, maybe you have the opportunity to buy some gifts, but don't worry about it if you can't. Take care of yourself. The self-care part of it is what your family wants more than anything before they want just a gift.
I think that's probably the most significant thing in regards to this scenario is if you were to ask the family what they want for Christmas or for the holidays, they'd probably say, you're already giving it to me. I don't need a big screen TV. I don't need the fanciest iPhone. You just being here and healthy is all that matters. And I think having those conversations with the family probably would have made a huge impact on him as well. But great advice. That's great advice. What about things like mindfulness or meditation when things go crazy? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely think that mindfulness and meditation help tremendously. Definitely, again, it's what's in between our ears is the main problem. And so getting our mind straight and taking a few minutes before you go to really focus on, like how even Nick said, really that's the beauty of sobriety and recovery is that we have these gifts that are all internal now, and they're all priceless gifts. And so learning to kind of stay quiet and to focus on those things, if anything, it's a blessing to be able to be with your family and maybe just even gratitude lists, things like that, just focusing on the positive and focusing on what you're grateful for really can lead you back to what it's all about, what the holidays are really supposed to be about, and that I think really society's gotten away from. So.
Great advice. Great advice. So we were talking earlier, Nick, about HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Comes up pretty regularly during the holidays, you think?
Absolutely.
And so how do you navigate that HALT issue that comes up? I mean, what do you do in a situation where, how do you prevent yourself from getting to that point?
So, and I'm one of those guys, I love to eat. So I love snacks. And whether that you just keep some Jolly Ranchers in your pocket. At first, when I first got into sobriety this time, I quit smoking too. So either just keeping some gum in my pocket, some hard candy, Jolly Ranchers, whatever it may be, just something to put in your stomach, just to keep it. Because there's sometimes where you do the turkey takes an hour too long or 2 hours too long, and you start getting frustrated. You get that hangry, and that angry aspect. You start looking like Betty White running around, getting all mad. But it's like you have to, just snacking. It'll change your sugar levels, or you'll feel a difference. Don't let anything take you all the way to that angry stage. Realizing that you can back out of a conversation whenever you want to. You are not trapped. You are not stuck in a conversation. If you want to, mid-conversation, tell the person, I just really don't want to have this conversation. I appreciate it. I love you for who you are. I just can't talk about this. Politics are one thing that I don't bring up during the holidays. Religion is another thing I don't bring up during the holidays. Unless I know the other person and we can have like a simple debate about it. Being lonely in the holidays, that's what the fellowship is for. Stop trying to find that other person to come up with and start trying to find those people that you can call and talk to. That's what that lonely factor will make you. You'll realize that you can lean on the people in the program just like you could have leaned on your family before. They become that new family in the holidays. And you got to realize what the holidays are about. And that's just the joyous giving of love and caring to another person. Like that's what the holidays are for. It's just relating to other people. Solid sleep schedule. Getting your sleep in. Don't wear yourself too thin. Don't wake up at 6 in the morning and think you have to go to, I got 6 Christmases today. And it happens. It's a modern family. You've got if you have a significant other, there's 2 Christmases right there. If your parents are divorced, there's another 2 Christmases, and grandma and grandpa. All of a sudden, you're going to 6 different houses in one day. Don't worry yourself too thin. If you have to cancel something, because it will. It'll put you to that tipping point, and if there's no need for it, not during the holiday season.
Great advice. Well, we're going to wrap up in about 5 minutes. Is there anything else that you think might be helpful for those that are listening today, or anyone else on the line that would be interested in offering any kind of tips or advice, or if there's issues or concerns that you're having that we might be able to help you with? Is there something else that you feel like it might be really important for folks to know about before we wrap up?
I would just say that in early sobriety, and even just in general, people who don't struggle with this disease, it's just a stressful time anyway. So, but in early sobriety, feelings are just all over the map. You're just starting to unfreeze your feelings, and don't let them scare you. They're feelings, and they're real, but they're just feelings, and they're not facts. You know, hopefully they'll get a lot of support, but just don't let the feelings overtake you. I would really concentrate on making new memories, like you mentioned, the fact that you are sober and you've been given a new chance, and just spend time with people that just make you happy and enjoy your time. Just enjoy it. You know, let the feelings feel them and then let them go.
Great. Thanks, Karen. Nick, anything else you'd like to add?
Just everyone has a smartphone nowadays, and you guys have the opportunity to have, whether it's just a daily meditation or you get any sort of recovery literature on it. You know, get some stuff on your phone that you can pull up when you need it, and make sure you get those phone numbers. It's so crucial, and letting people know where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing. If you need to use someone as an escape plan, use them as an escape plan. Shoot them a text and please call me, I need help. Soon. And you'll be in conversation with someone, oh, I got to take this call, it's time for me to leave.
Right.
It's not lying, it's not, you need to, it's the self-preservation. You need to take care of yourself and take care of your recovery, because you know what comes first, and you have to put recovery first. You have nothing. You don't have those holiday parties anymore. You don't have those family meetings. It all falls apart. So.
Very nice. Thank you very much, both of you. We really appreciate your feedback and your insights. For those of you that are listening, we thank you for taking the time. We wish you all a happy holiday, and please stay in touch with Lakeview through our Facebook pages and our social media channels. Thanks so much, everyone.